Hello and welcome to this video in which we're gonna talk about 10 inspiring business quotes for entrepreneurs and doers. But before started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to miss any new video. 1. Success isn't final. Failure isn't fatal. What matters is the courage to keep going. Churchill, Winston. Churchill guided the United Kingdom through one of its worst epochs. With opponents attempting to cross the English Channel and bomb London on a regular basis, survival was critical. But, like any good entrepreneur, Churchill recognized that failure was an inevitable part of the process. One learned from his or her mistakes, and the most important lesson was that there was always tomorrow to fight another day. 2. Abide by the rules, but be ruthless. Phil Knight. The company behind "Just Do It" qualifies the phrase, which has always felt a little wide, by adding restrictions. As Knight points out, you can't simply do it without following the regulations. These guidelines ensure that the playing field is even and that fair competition is maintained. Rules, on the other hand, have nothing to do with the enthusiasm with which you play within them. 3. Business chances are like buses, there are always more on their way. Branson, Richard. From record labels to aircraft, Branson's Virgin has demonstrated that where there is a will, there is a way. T. The door isn't always open, but it's occasionally ajar, and the key is on the floor. All you have to do now is pick it up and turn the key in the lock. In general, the proper climate for success ebbs and flows, but a savvy entrepreneur is never idle. For every problem is a gift. We wouldn't be able to progress if we didn't have problems. Anthony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. It is ridiculous to believe that one can go through life without encountering conflict or challenges. Some may fantasize about a frictionless tour around the world, but growth is impossible without some type of resistance. Our character, creativity, and humility are all developed as a result of the problems we confront. 5. As long as you don't do too many things wrong, you only have to do a few things correctly in your life. Warren Buffett, Warren Buffett. Of all, the concept of right and wrong is a construct, and suggesting that making the correct decisions can smooth the way forward may seem unduly basic. However, in this business saying, the prominent investor is simply stating that avoiding a bad decision is just as crucial as making the correct one. Of course, making wrong decisions is made easier with the help of technology. 6. Those who are too busy to hunt for success frequently find it. Henry David Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau. Philosopher, naturalist, essayist, and other types of writers. Thoreau knew a thing or two about getting things done. He correctly observed that those pursuing success are more likely to romanticize the concept than putting in the hard, realistic work required to achieve it. 7. And then there came a time when the risk of remaining tight in a bud was more agonizing than the chance of blossoming. Anastasios Nin. Nin was no stranger to the act of creation. She had to put pen to paper as a writer or her stories would remain phantoms in her head. It's best to keep these thoughts to oneself. That way, there's no rejection or criticism, but there's also no opportunity to refine one's skills and produce anything worthwhile. 8. There's no scarcity of brilliant ideas, what's lacking is the drive to put them into action. Seth Godin, SethGodin.com. Godin, a writer and former .com entrepreneur, claims that conversation is cheap, but in a nicer way. Yes, ideas abound, but the actual meat on the bones comes from attempting to put them into action. Only then do the issues emerge, and the true task of solving them begins. 9. I credit my success to having respectfully listened to the greatest counsel and then doing the exact opposite. Chesterton, G.K. The contrarian on our list is Chesterton, a writer of paradoxical stories. He speaks for both the pig-headed and the visionary. Sometimes it's necessary to defy popular wisdom. The difficult thing is determining if you're behaving out of conviction for your principles or if your ego is leading you astray. 10. I'm not familiar with the term quit. Either I didn't do it or I got rid of it. Butcher, Susan. She is exaggerating to make a point, rather than being literal. Everyone has a point in their lives when the thought of simply throwing in the towel appeals to them. You're worn out. The challenges appear insurmountable. Those who can resist the concept of quitting and tap into an unanticipated reserve, on the other hand, are more likely to reach the finish line.